the long-awaited update video. I'm sorry that it's taken me so long to bring this to you, but I've been super busy, and I want to do a nice long video, and I want to break it down into sections. So I want to do one section which is all about signs, symptoms and lifestyle, so basically everything before I got my diagnosis, and then it's going to be what happened, or what has happened basically since the diagnosis and since I made the video for you guys, like how I've been doing, how I've been keeping, what treatments I've been going for, and all that kind of thing. Just answer all these questions kind of as completely as I possibly can. But first off, I just do want to start with a massive thank you to everyone out there for all of the support that you've given me. It has meant so much to me and my friends and my family. Like going through the comments and stuff on those videos has really kind of melted my heart on a lot of occasions, and it's also inspired me to keep going, and it's given me an opportunity to seek out maybe some alternative treatments, but we're going to get onto that at the end of the video. So I'll try and put some markers in to make it a bit easier if you just want to kind of skip ahead. And thank you to everyone that has subscribed and that did comment and that donated to me. I never expected anyone to do that, but thank you very much those that did. And please, you know, don't feel like you have to do anything like that. It's not necessary, but you know, I'd rather people spend their money having experiences with friends and family. Try Airsoft, it's amazing. It kind of keeps me going. So right, let's get straight into lifestyle and signs and symptoms that I had. So ultimately I lived a relatively active lifestyle. I might kind of go out drinking maybe once a week. I'm 39 years old, or I was 39 years old. Increasingly, I noticed that I wasn't really going out as much. I would rather kind of go for food with friends, or have friends round and like get a takeaway or something like that. And drinking became less and less a part of my life, just because I was enjoying it less and less. This all happened probably about a year before my diagnosis, that I just started kind of looking for non-alcoholic things just kind of naturally. A sign probably for my body that it didn't like alcohol particularly anymore, and that was obviously a sign of the damage that had happened to my liver as a result of the bowel cancer moving up. I also had a bit of a penchant for sugary drinks as well. That was my other kind of big weakness. I always kind of figured that having full fat Coke or something like that, that my body would know how to deal with the sugar, and that was maybe better for me than having kind of fake sugar, which I still don't believe is very good for you. And that's a whole other journey that I've been on, which I'll tell you about. I also found myself, and this presented itself in kind of like the summer of 2023, or sort of springtime, so almost like 10 months ago. I was just becoming increasingly tired, and I would get up to start work, and within a few hours I'd be absolutely exhausted. And this was really strange. I wasn't sort of expecting this. And I was also finding myself getting up in the night, and it was because I was incredibly thirsty. And as a result, I was probably drinking maybe 3 or 4 liters of water just throughout the night. And again, that was sort of a sign that there was something wrong. I also found myself doing a bit of sort of dry heaving, and when I had gone to my GP, which is like your sort of local doctor, I had a lot going on in my life at the time, so it was kind of put down to depression and anxiety, and I was given some pills to take to help deal with that. And after a little while of taking those pills, I found that there was no real difference. I was still finding myself having these sort of dry heaves that would often kind of come in the morning, like almost a kind of a morning sickness, and then could happen at any other point throughout the day, and almost anything could trigger it. It did seem to be kind of triggered by stress, which is really strange. But yeah, I would find myself either having to run and sort of stand over a toilet and feel like I was heaving, or well, was just like heaving up. Then on to kind of like what like bowel movements and stuff are like. So obviously if you've got kids, maybe they don't want to hear about this. Actually like pretty normal. I didn't notice anything. In hindsight, I didn't have any like large stools. It was always kind of small and bitty, and that was obviously symptomatic of the fact that there were tumours inside my colon, so they were kind of breaking everything up a bit more. I didn't really notice this because my actual habits hadn't really particularly changed, and like throughout this whole time I was still sort of going out maybe once or twice a week, obviously not really drinking, just like having water or non-alcoholic beers or a Coke or something like that, and the rest of the time I would have things like, you know, on my lunch at work I might go get like a chicken salad sandwich from the shop. I might like have a packet of crisps with it or something like that. I'd always like have a Coke. I would still eat fresh fruit. I used to like making food, but it wasn't, there'd probably be 2 nights a week where I might like make pizza or have like a stab and cook, sort of a microwave meal kind of thing for convenience. And a lot of this was because I was so tired all of the time. I also noticed that my hair was starting to fall out, and I guess, you know, moving from 39 to 40, you kind of expect to be losing a bit of hair, but I would just kind of run my fingers through and yeah, just hairs would just kind of come out, and that had never happened before, and I thought maybe that could be a sign of stress, but no. I'm trying to think if there were any other sort of big symptoms. So not really, I don't think. It was mostly just being absolutely exhausted, literally being tired enough that you're trying to, rather than have lunch, you'd be trying to like have a little sleep on your lunch break, or you'd finish work at 5 o'clock, and you know, as soon as you're home and in bed, like you're just going to sleep, but also that sleep is interrupted because you're getting up in the night because you're just like downing sort of pints of water. And I don't know, I'm no expert, but I felt like looking back, maybe that was my kidneys like trying to sort of help out a bit, and they were trying to do their bit to kind of flush everything through. I didn't really probably drink enough water. I think that's something that maybe I failed on a little bit. However, what's been an experience was actually all of the doctors and oncologists and second opinion people that I've spoken to have all said that bowel cancer is massively on the rise in people in their 30s and 40s. So if you're presenting any of these symptoms, I would suggest you go and get checked. Even people that have really, really healthy lifestyles are still getting symptoms. So please, it's out there. It's happening to lots of people. So now that we've been over kind of like the main sort of what my lifestyle was like, it was, you know, medium healthy. I would still go out and play airsoft. I'd always walk like a couple of miles every day. I'd get my like 10,000 steps every day, like no problem. It was only when I was sort of working from home, and I guess like the less I was moving around, the more tired I got. I didn't realise there was kind of a fight going on inside me. So let's go up to what sort of tipped it over the edge. So I was really thirsty, and I was going to go out and meet some friends, and I drank some orange juice, and normally that would sort of give me a bit of energy, and this time it didn't. It just had like almost an opposite effect, and sort of kind of leveled me on the sofa, and I was like, what is going on here? Anyway, I sort of crashed out, and I thought, you know what, this is, maybe I'm diabetic, maybe that's it. So I went to my doctors, I went to the GP, and I said, I want to get a test for diabetes. And this was in sort of, I think it was like October time. And they did some blood tests, and then they asked to take a stool sample and a urine sample. And then I was asked to go for an ultrasound as well. And at this point I was thinking, oh, maybe it's non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And anyway, these things were all happening, and this was all kind of around Christmas time. And I went home to see my mum, and over that sort of period, for dinner on Christmas Day, I think it was, we had a pudding late, and it was tiramisu, and there was a tiny bit of alcohol in the bottom layer, and that absolutely like leveled me. On Boxing Day, whole day on the sofa, like whole day just absolutely wiped out. And yeah, it was because of this like tiny amount of alcohol that had in the pudding, and obviously the fact that it was quite sugary as well. I don't think that was doing me any good. By this time I was sort of preparing for that kind of news, and so I'd already started to like trying to like research it a little bit, and like clean living, and you know, how to sort of best sort of deal with that. Anyway, I went into the doctors. So this is the day of the video, and the day that I found out, the day that changed my life forever. So forgive me if this is a little bit hard for me to talk about this one. I was called into the doctors, and I was on my own. I do live alone, and the doctor sat me down and asked to do a finger exam, and did that, and then that only took like a few seconds. Like, it wasn't as bad as everyone thinks it is. Please, I urge you, like, get checked. Just don't ignore signs and symptoms. Don't ignore your health. It's all you've got. And then I sat down, and she said, you know, do you want to know sort of the full truth, like really how bad it is, or do you want a sort of lighter sort of version? I sort of built myself up for maybe this non-alcoholic fatty liver, and said, no, like tell me the truth, tell me what's going on. And she said, you've got stage 4 bowel cancer, and with the amount of damage that's been done, they've already looked at it, and it's not going to be that's the sort of thing that's not operable, it's not survivable, and it's terminal, and you've got about 3 months looking at the damage that's there and the size of the tumours, and being able to feel a tumour inside as well. So my world just fell apart at that point. I walked out of that place with legs like Bambi. I almost collapsed. I had to phone one of my friends to come and pick me up. and phoned one of my other close friends who lives nearby, and I had a CT scan booked, which was going to basically determine exactly the size of everything and what it was all going to be like. And they spent some time with me that day. They took some emergency time off work, so that was my really good friend, MistaTrick. If you want to support local music and just a really nice guy, I will leave links to his stuff down below. But that's the guy that picked me up. And when I got home, I phoned my brother, who lives in Germany, and I told him what happened. But I said, you can't tell mum what's happened, because I need to wait until I've got the results of the CT scan. And I know absolutely for certain, because you know the worst thing for any parent is going to be burying their child. So I said I made my brother swear not to say anything. And that evening, when I'd got off the phone and everyone had gone home, I sat down and I made that video. And it wasn't fair of me to put the video out until I told my mum what was going on. So I had to sit on it for about a week or so before publishing it, and that was one of the toughest weeks, because I could only tell a couple of people, and I was just waiting for this CT scan to happen and to get the results. When it happened, me and my friend Jenny went back to the doctors, and they confirmed it again, and they confirmed that was the prognosis. At that point, I contacted my mum and I said, "Mum, why don't you come and stay with me for a couple of days?" And contacted my brother and said, "Can you come over and support me through this?" And when she arrived, we had to bring her in, and I sort of got myself into a mindset of, I've got to beat this no matter what. I can be quite bloody minded, and so we told my mum. She howled. And but very quickly I said to her, "Look, we're going to beat this. I know what they've said, I understand, but this isn't going to be the end, and everything that I've been doing with my trying to live clean, I feel like I'm feeling better, you know. I don't feel like I'm on the edge of death." And so that evening, after I told my mum, I posted the video, and at that time I had 6,100 subscribers, and the channel's all about airsoft. If you don't know about it, it's, well, just look at my entire back catalogue and you'll sort of see it's my passion. I never expected it to get picked up by firstly just the airsoft community. I didn't realise that so many people watched my videos and I'd helped so many people. I never really took the whole YouTube thing particularly seriously, to be honest. I don't see myself as a YouTuber. I see myself as a pensions administrator. That's what I see myself as. Who just has a passion for airsoft and especially gas blowbacks. Oh, they're so much fun, honestly. I love it. I get so distracted whenever I talk about airsoft because that's where I want to like mentally be. Anyway, I never expected everyone to pick it up and for so many people to leave comments and to share inspirational stories and stories of hope and stories of just wishes and support, and that meant a huge amount to me and my mum and my brother, because we've all got to go on there and we've got to read those comments and just feel like we're not alone. And I've actually now got over 100,000 people that have subscribed and that are supporting me, and that's a support network that I never expected when I asked for help. And so I just want to thank all of you because it's changed my life. The fact that you've all given your time, and for some of you, I know that it's had as bigger effect on your lives as it has on my life as well. And that makes me so proud. And I'm proud of a lot of the people that have been brave enough to share their stories, and a massive thank you to all of the people that also donated. I never expected anyone to donate anything, but I also didn't realise that I would be having to go and get Ubers to appointments. I spent about £250 in a week on Ubers, getting around the city, going to various appointments, and it's given me a lot of extra freedom. It's meant that I've got this, which is an emergency alarm, and this will kind of get on to, but it's yeah, your donations have sort of given me a lot of freedom, and I really appreciate that. And I just want to say thank you to all of the people that have done that, and to the airsoft community for having my back as well, and the YouTube community also for kind of sending me viral, and all the well wishes that have kept me going. So let's now go for let's talk about after I told my mum and the video had dropped. I said in that video that the most important thing for me was going to be spending time with friends and family, and I really meant that, and that is what I've been doing for the last couple of months. There have only been a few days that I've spent alone, and pardon me, sorry. There have only been a few days that I spent alone, and that's kind of been because I've wanted a bit of time and a bit of space. I'm now 40 years old, so I need a bit of time, you know, come on, people need their alone time. But it's been great because I've still been able to sort of, if I'm feeling a bit low and I do need a bit of sort of downtime or alone time, that those comments, honestly, and the emails and the stories and stuff like that, I absolutely love it. And there's a wider community that it helps as well. Other people that are in my position, I know, have read a lot of those comments, and it means a lot to them as well. Okay, so me and my mum then went to see the oncologist, and he basically said, your liver is completely tumours. There is no path for you to recover from this. And me and my mum were kind of hopeful that there would be some sort of like experimental treatment or something like that going on, or there might be some trials or something. Unfortunately, he said that I was too far gone for any of that kind of stuff to be viable. The only thing they could offer me would be the standard sort of courses of palliative chemotherapy, which wouldn't make anything better, but it might sort of extend my life out. And by this point, I'd already sort of switched over to a diet of eating like nuts, beans, berries, like really sort of really fibrous and wholesome. Kind of done a lot of research, and a lot of the comments that people left about things to try, I've been able to just try them straight away, which is again a massive blessing. Yeah, he basically said, your liver is on a knife edge, and it's never gonna get to the point of recovery. And again, that was really hard to hear. And again, he said, you know, more people are presenting. We said, we brought up fasting, because people had talked about fasting before and after chemotherapy. And he did say that there is some evidence to show that that helps. So straight away we were like, right, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through this chemotherapy. And so after like a few more weeks of drinking soursop tea and Essiac tea and all of these sort of things known to have health benefits, which you guys helped me buy, as well as like a water distiller as well, so that I can not drink tap water, just drink sort of distilled water, wash the fruit, wash the veg, buy organic, all that kind of stuff. Buy organic, wash it in apple cider vinegar, then wash it in distilled water, like clean water, and then prepare it and eat it, and basically give my liver the best chance. So already I'd had quite a few blood tests, and it had showed something called bilirubin, which is an indicator of like liver function, and it started out that it was like well over 1,000, and since sort of changing my lifestyle, it's come down to about half that, so to sort of like into the 500. So it shows that the liver function is getting better, which is something that wasn't expected, and this has been sort of up until kind of today, like it's continued to like improve, and this is a lot of because of my diet, and I have gone through some chemotherapy. Before we left the oncologist's, he did comment that my liver was 5 times the size that it's supposed to be, because of all the tumours that they've seen. And I think he said the biggest one was 10.3 centimetres on my liver and 5 point something in my bowel. But they wouldn't, basically, because it's a primary bowel cancer, they can't sort of operate on the liver because it would just come back from the bowel. They did say like the lungs are clean, like they're fine, no sign of sort of it moving up. And my next CT scan is going to be in April, which is where they'll be able to see if all the work that I've been putting in has shrunk any of the tumours. I'm really hoping that all this clean living is going to pay off, and a lot of the advice that you guys have given me about things to take, you know, being able to follow that has been maybe life-saving for me. So let's talk about that first round of chemotherapy. My mum was ill, so my friend Jenny came with me, and they put a needle through the back of your hand. And we were there for about 3 hours, and they're putting this stuff intravenous, and they send you away with a big box of pills, which is like steroids and other stuff like that, anti-sickness medication, and also the actual medication for the chemotherapy. And it got to like 3.5 days in, and I was with my mum and my friend Jan, and I was getting these like crushing chest pains, and I was laid on the sofa and sort of trying to like stretch out my chest, but like my arms were hurting, my jaw was hurting. So I got my friend to phone for an ambulance, and it turns out basically the ambulance came. They connected up all the cables and stuff. I'll put a photo up of me in the ambulance there. But I'd had a bad reaction to this first set of chemotherapy medication, and it ended up with me being taken out of my house by an ambulance. And the ambulance were there within like 5 minutes when the symptoms were described, and they got us through to the cardiac ward, and I was with my mum and with Jan. And they basically had to keep me in the cardiac emergency ward for about 3 days, all monitored up. And during this time, I was really well cared for by all of the people on that ward. But like when I was going for a wee, going for a piss, or whatever you want to call it, my heart rate was hitting like the 140s, and it would set off a bunch of alarms and stuff. So it turns out what was happening is it wasn't an actual heart attack, it was the valves kind of open or the arteries open and close kind of at their own will, and so instead of having a regular heartbeat, it's just sort of all over the place. So I came off the medication. My sort of heart symptoms and stuff sort of faded away, and I moved off that ward onto the oncology ward. At this point, we're about a week away from my birthday, and this is my 40th birthday, and it was also my 10th birthday as well. If you know, you know. But it was a big one. It was going to be a big party, and thanks to all my friends in Bristol and actually all over the place that came along. But I was still in hospital, and I was wondering whether I was actually gonna make it out in time to enjoy my birthday, because I didn't want to be discharged, because obviously I live alone, so I don't want to go back to an empty house. So part of the donations that you guys have made has been me being able to get one of these emergency buttons, which I can press, and it basically lets the emergency services know that something's happened, and they can come to the rescue. And they've got a key for my door, so they can get in without having to kick the door in, and I'll be okay. And again, thank you to the people that have allowed me to do that. So anyway, this was pretty scary, and it got to a few days before, and I thought, you know what, being in this environment, it isn't right for me. I can take good care of myself. At this point, my mum and a couple of friends were around, obviously prep for birthday. So I ended up discharging myself, and got the doctor's sort of all fit note, and then I had my birthday which was amazing, and thanks to all the people that came. Bada Bing came along, he's been a big support, so I'll leave a link down to him below as well. Go give him some love. I think he's almost at 20,000 subscribers, so maybe my subscribers can help Bada Bing and MistaTrick to get their numbers up, because they're nice guys. They're people have said that they can tell that I'm a nice person, and that is lovely, because I feel like I am a nice person, but kind of doesn't everyone feel like that? Even like evil people would think that they're a nice person. Anyway, so ended up really enjoying my birthday. Had some pizza, had a slice of cake, and I've been trying to avoid sugar in my diet, and that bit of cake, oh my goodness. There were blow up like toy sort of airsoft guns kind of thing. Maybe I could put a photo up here of me thoroughly enjoying that experience, but I had an absolutely amazing time. Then started the next round of chemo, and needless to say, I was scared for this one. So again, my blood test showing better than before, so those things were improving, which was great. The next chemo started, and this time it was all going to be intravenous, so there was no more course of pills to take. There was just like a few days of taking steroids and stuff. So I made sure that I had a couple of friends around me, and went through for this second one, went along with my mum, put it all through my veins. I was there for about maybe 3.5 hours while they did it, and it kind of wiped me out. Certainly I was okay for maybe 3 or 4 days afterwards, and it does this weird thing to your fingers where your fingers become really, really sensitive to the cold. I wasn't kind of expecting that. It has meant it's been harder to like play with some of the airsoft guns, because they're cold, they're made of metal, and my fingers are sensitive to that now, which is weird. So anyway, it seems to have gone a lot better. My next set of chemo is due to start in about a week's time. I don't feel like I've got a month left, although according to the doctor's initial time frame, I should only have a month left, and I should be jaundiced as well. I should be yellow, and I'm not. So there's a few things that I've been able to do. So finding a chemotherapy that's sort of working for me rather than against me, listening to you guys, actually following the advice of only drinking sort of like water most of the time, water, green tea, black coffee, making sure that I'm doing a 48-hour fast before each chemotherapy session, and a 24-hour fast after the chemotherapy session. And that's it really. Just trying to live clean, enjoy myself as much as possible, with you know, sort of friends coming over and stuff like that, and actually, I don't know, like feeling a lot more hopeful at the moment for the future. I don't feel like I feel better now than I did 2 months ago, and I shouldn't. And I think a lot of that is to do with you guys, like the army behind me, that are pushing me forward and saying, don't give up, you know, don't stop. And yeah, I've lost quite a lot of weight, and I'm in not a great place maybe physically. Still have to be very, very careful. Mentally, I feel strong, and I think that's something that's really important, and I think that's something that I've had within me, and you guys have helped to really awaken that. So again, I just want to say thank you. There's a few more people that I want to say thank you to as well. I want to say thank you to the guys on Discord. I want to say thank you to PewHub, Only Airsoft, PewHub, Mike at pewhub.co.uk did some Ollie Talks Airsoft patches and didn't tell me about it until he gave me one of the patches, and he's doing all that for me. He also put on a game which is the last game that I have played at, and I did get a bit of footage of it, and that was amazing to do. So thank you to Mike and all of the people at Chippenham who put the game together and made it such a special day. I will try and get some footage of that up for those that want to see it. And also thank you to the people that donated to the raffle as well. That was really generous, really kind. And yeah, so there's far too many more people that I need to thank. But most of all, I just want to say thank you to you guys for just for everything. Honestly, this should be such a dark place that I'm in at the moment, and because of you, I don't feel like I'm in a dark place. I feel like you guys are all with me, and that inspires me, and it makes me want to keep going, and it makes me want to just prove all of the doctors wrong and keep on living, beat this cancer, even though they say that it's not possible to do. Well, I believe that I can. I believe that it's not entirely up to the doctors. It's not, my fate isn't in their hands. Yeah, so take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Remember, be on the lookout for the signs and symptoms of bowel cancer. Look out for your liver, be kind to it, make sure you're getting lots of fibre and things like that as well. Please, honestly, take care of yourselves. And thank you so much for all the help that you've given me. I am honestly eternally grateful. Thank you so much. And take care. I hope to give you some more updates very soon when I'm feeling even better and even stronger.